Hey everyone, I'm Vivek Bavishi. Today I'm going to share what we do on the Power Addicts. How do we try to automate some of the stuff so that it takes lesser time for us to promote the Power Addicts events? Of course, we don't get this much of engagement, so we probably are still lacking something and we have scope for improvements, but you'll see what we are trying to do and we'll talk about some of the improvements that we can do as well. Right, so before we get started, just a little bit about myself. I'm a business applications MVP. I work as a senior consultant at Hitachi Solutions. Been in the kind of power addicted to the community for more than 3 years and will be forever. These are some of the links where you can find me. My blog, I do some videos as well, and that's my handle on Twitter. All right, so quick agenda. We'll get through the PowerPoint pretty quickly and we'll switch to the flow. But yeah, we'll just discuss why we are trying to do this and what's exactly that we are doing as well. All right, so the why. As all of us, I mean, whoever is contributing to the community, we all know that it's something that we take out from our kind of personal time, and it's hard to kind of spend time on all these things. So you always look, if there is a way to automate things, you want to do that. And that was one of the big reasons why we thought about using this. The other thing, we started off just promoting the event, sharing the team's links, and that wasn't enough because people want it on their calendar. And as all of us, we don't want to go into the calendar, create the event ourselves and do that. We want some way to just have the ICS file and just save it. So that was another reason. We have people joining from all over the world. So having something time zone, managing the time zone and making sure that it's not confusing for someone. That was another reason why we wanted to do some automations. And the other thing was, unlike the community call, which happens every month, Power Addicts call doesn't happen every month because sometimes we are just not able to get the speakers. It just doesn't happen every month regularly. So we wanted a way to be able to trigger it on some event. Otherwise, we could just send a ICS file for the whole year and keep continuing that. So unfortunately, we are not there yet. It just takes some time. So we are not doing it on a regular cadence yet. All right, what and how? So the flow, it's basically one flow that we are using. It triggers on a new calendar event. You'll see that. And what all are we doing? So we are creating ICS file. There is a great video by our own April Dunham about how you can create ICS files using flows. We also create short links. So we are not using Bitly, but we are using rebrandly. The reason why we use that is because you can change the destination URL. So you can have, let's say, rebrand.ly/poweraddicts. You can keep changing the destination URL behind it. So you don't have to create a new link every time. And if someone has a short link with them, they can always just use that, bookmark it, and they don't have to keep having a new link. So yeah, we are using rebrandly for the short links. We create different short links one for the Teams meeting, to be able to join it live, one for the ICS file, one for a time zone check as well. So we stopped putting the time in Eastern because it just didn't feel inclusive, that we are doing a worldwide event and we are just putting one time zone on it. It just doesn't make sense. So we don't put a time zone at all. We just put a date and we put a link to a time and date website where people click on it and they can see the time in their time zones. So the other things that we do, of course, we want to promote the event. So we create a tweet, we create a LinkedIn post, and we also create a WordPress post for the wearepoveraddicts.com website. Because it's a self-hosted WordPress website, it's not the WordPress.com hosted website. We can't use the Power Automate out-of-box connector, so we have to use some API there. So all that has been packed into one flow, and we'll see that in a minute here. All right, time for the demo. So let me switch here. So yeah, this is the flow. So it starts with a new event getting created. I have a filter behind it. So if any event that gets created with Power Addicts Meetup, only then, if it has that in the subject line, only then it will trigger the flow. Now, you guys might be thinking it might just create it if you also send me a calendar event. So today it might, but yeah, if I see any erroneous behavior after this call, I'll just put an approval step here. But yeah, the reason why I did that is because if, let's say, I don't have the time to create this in my own calendar, someone else in our kind of group who is hosting this event can send it to me and it triggers the flow. So that way any one of us can trigger this without having to depend on one person. So the API keys here for the actions that we are going to use for rebrandly in WordPress. And then there are a bunch of expressions here. So one is to get the event description. So we use that in the LinkedIn post. Twitter doesn't have a character limit, as everyone knows. We don't put a lot of stuff on the tweet, but in LinkedIn, we do put that. Then the Teams link. So this is a very long expression, but basically what it does is it finds the index where this link is starting, teams.microsoft.com. So it's going through the body of the event to find that exact link. And then it goes to the end of that link, finds where that kind of space comes. And after that, it kind of, basically we're trying to use some expression to get the URL to join the Teams meeting. So, I'm not going to go through this all, but yeah, if you need some more help, let me know, and I can guide you through this. Similarly, for the start time and the end time, again, some formatting to basically get a time in a way that we can use it in the ICS file. So creating ICS file, I'll kind of talk through it once and then go back on the start time, end time. It requires a certain format based on the version of the ICS kind of format you're using. There's a Wikipedia article for this, and as I said, April has a great video on this, so you can look at that. But basically, it needs the time zone, the time in a certain format, and that's what I'm trying to do over here, converting the time that I'm getting here into a time, Eastern Standard Time, and then using it in here, specifying that it is in Eastern Standard Time. And then if anyone else downloads it, it will change it based on whatever time zone they are in. So some intricacies behind that, but it shouldn't, it's achievable though. But yeah, all this is, the start time, end time is to get the kind of ICS file. So here I'm creating the ICS file. So it's a OneDrive action to create a file. And the file content, it's not any binary or anything, it's just text. You say that it's filename.ics, and then you put this ICS kind of formatting, and it will create the ICS file for you. Now, once the ICS file is created, we want to create a share link. Now, depending on whether your tenant allows it or not, this is my personal tenant, so I'm allowed to create share links which can be shared outside the organization. So its link scope is anonymous. And so yeah, this uses the file ID from the previous action and creates the share link. So now that we have the share link, we create a short link for the ICS file. So this is where we use rebrandly API. The specific endpoint is to create a new ICS file. Now this specific link is something that we keep changing because, ICS files, you probably could link to the current one, but it's the short link, we name it as poweraddicts.family/September or August based on the month, so it's easier to kind of use. So here you can see all these short links getting created. I'm not doing this manually. All this is being created by this API call. So if you want to understand how this API works, again, I have a rebrand. Rebrandly has an API documentation for all that, so you can look into that. And yeah, this one, the post call creates a new link. I'm passing the subject, a slash tag, which is basically that Power Addicts meetup, this March 22 or Feb 22. That's what we're using it here for the slash tag, and the destination URL, which is the web URL that we get from the share link. This domain is basically, I have multiple domains in my rebrandly login. So I use for my own personal website, for Power Addicts as well. So differentiate using that domain ID. I know the domain ID, the static value for that, so I'm using it directly. But yeah, you can, based on how you are going to use rebrandly, you can find that out. So this one creates the share link for the ICS file. This one is for the Teams meeting. So that for the Teams meeting, we just have one link, which we keep basically updating. So it's join us live. And instead of creating a new one, we update an existing one. So here, if you see, the endpoint is just to create a new one. But here I am specifying the link which I want to update. Again, I know the static value for that specific short links. I'm just using it directly. And then passing the new destination link. So that's, if you're using Bitly today, you can't change the destination link, but with rebrandly you can. So yeah, if you want, you can use rebrandly for that. And this one is the time zone one. Again, we are updating the time zone check link. So if you see that here, the link, it's a time check. And if I click on that, it takes me to this, which is basically, so this one, we just had the meetup yesterday, which has all the, I mean, not all, but a lot of the time zones for different places throughout the world that we cover here, so that people know what's the time in their time zone. So yeah, it's basically just a URL based link. So we just change this ISO time. So again, it needs it in a certain format. We change that, but everything else, these locations are just some numbers in here. So we keep that static and keep changing it. So yeah, that's so those are the three links that we create. Then we do create a LinkedIn post. One thing about LinkedIn, I have seen this. I don't know if it's an issue on my side, but the connection to LinkedIn keeps kind of expiring. So you have to keep updating it. So we have sometimes when the LinkedIn post doesn't get created because I come and check and the LinkedIn connection has just expired. So something to look for the LinkedIn connector. Maybe something I should reach out to the product team.
Vivek, that's happened to me too with that same connector. How often does it seem to lose your connection? Mine, if I go about 10, 12 days is when it happens to me.
Yeah, I guess I haven't checked exactly, but a lot of times the LinkedIn stuff doesn't get posted and I have to get creative in posting just the LinkedIn stuff automatically then. So yeah, I think it happens almost like every 2 months or so right now for me.
The LinkedIn connector kind of burps and goes, "Ugh." Is that right? Is that what you're saying?
Okay. Its connection.
Okay, good to know. Okay.
If you reconnect it, it works fine in my experience.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. I wonder if that's like some, I don't know, security or privacy. Or I don't know. You know what I mean? Like there's some.
Probably.
Yeah. Like by design.
Yeah, potentially. But I'll flag that. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. This one is for the WordPress post. So again, we just create the content for it here, and then I'm creating a WordPress post using this API call. So we have the website poweradicts.com. There's a way to create WordPress posts for self-hosted WordPress websites. And you can look at the API documentation for that. I'll paste the link after I'm done presenting here. But yeah, then you can just specify the inputs and it will create a WordPress post. And this is where we have the website, and under Hangout announcements, all these are getting created automatically. Again, saves times for us. We don't have to go in and create this post by ourselves. And we have this. And people who subscribe to the website, they get these they get a notification when this gets posted. So we get a lot of times people asking, oh, how can I subscribe? So yeah, this is one way to get these invites in your inbox easily. And the last one is post a tweet, which basically is just a the links in here and post the tweet. Another thing that we were trying to do for a while was sending DMs to some of the people so that they can promote the event. I had some issues. So for sending DMs, you need to get into kind of the Twitter API. You can't use the Twitter connector for that, but you need to have Azure function and everything created because in OAuth 1.0, I have a blog post on that. So we were using that for a while, something broke, and I had to look back into it. But yeah, we keep looking for ways to maybe optimize it, make it reach out to more people. Yeah, this is just one way to make it super easy for us. And I know a lot of you who run community events can use something similar. So yeah, this is a great way to, time zone, keep it, everyone joins from the world right now. So keep it inclusive, keep it, don't post a time, just put a time zone check and people will know based on when they click on the link. And yeah, all these links definitely help people to save the event and make it easier for them to join it. So yeah, that's all I had. I'll just switch quickly here to some of the improvements. So yeah, we were also trying to create the image file automatically with speaker names, getting a little bit more creative by doing some image templating and using SVG stuff for doing that. We are almost there, but yeah, we haven't gotten to it yet. Yeah, that would be a big step. We don't even have to create the image ourselves. We create that image as a kind of a template we can use and put people's profile photo from Twitter and just their handles, and it will create the image for us. Yeah, if you have any suggestions, let us know how to improve this flow. We are always looking to improve this and making it reach out to more people so that more people can join and learn about all the cool stuff. And yeah, some of the resources. This is the rebrandly API and the video where I told about how to create the access invite. So yep, that's all. Happy to take any questions if anyone has.
You've always got the most awesome automations. I love it. How long did it take you to build that out so far?
It started slow. I wouldn't say it started slow. We started small. We started with just a Twitter, but then we kept optimizing it. We added new stuff. We added the DM thing. We added WordPress. We added LinkedIn. So yeah, and we added more short links. So yeah, everything.
Couple hours each time you add something like that.
Yeah. But yeah, it saves us a lot of time. I know. I don't know if Geeta's on the call, but she is really active on organizing some of these things. So she just sends me that invite, and we always have a fun kind of waiting for that tweet to get posted with all the links. It always kind of feels nice when everything happens automatically. You don't have to do anything.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at it the whole time like a hungry dog. Like, oh my gosh, I wish we had that. Because for this call, I do it all manually every month and everything. So I'm like, maybe I need to talk with you afterward here.
Yeah, definitely
about this. That's awesome.
Oh, I literally am writing a note to my team, and I was like, you need to go watch April's video. You need to watch the Vivek's thing, and we got to get this working because this is amazing. So like, yeah. Awesome. Really awesome. It is funny because it's one of those things where it's like, especially like on the Microsoft side too, just to say that like everybody's got privacy, PII, all of these things, that you have to think about and deal with, and you want it to be easy. Right. The thing is if you don't make it easy for people, or if there's a broken link or something's weird or whatever, people won't go. Right. And so like those of you who are user group leaders as well, right? Like, how do you like get this out? We use the AKA/MS short links, right, for things, and then change behind, right? So this is so valuable. It's these little things sometimes I think that just make huge differences in the productivity of our lives. And like if somebody doesn't know how to do something, it's so frustrating because people don't want to ask about this because it seems like, oh, I should just know it and it's super easy. This stuff is a little complicated, right? So the step-by-step here, y'all, so nice. So thank you so much. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Fun to do those little life hacks with Power Automate for sure. I might show one next month. I just did one myself that's very simple, that is responsible for sending the scores of the kids' youth scores of the teams I coach after the game. We need to send them to the league and to the AD and to this one other place so it pops up on a website. So the same thing you did. Busted out some Power Automate and figured out how to make it a click.
Yes.
Fun. Awesome. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for the opportunity.